Big Blue, stop right now. MetLife Stadium just exploded with breaking news. And one single digit is setting the entire NFC East on fire. 185. A top 10 pick officially sinks into franchise history. John Harbaugh drops a major claim about his tight end room. And roster moves at training camp just shifted the entire depth chart. Insiders confirmed the roster trimmed down to 89 players this morning, and here is the immediate payoff. That ranking of 185 isn't just a random stat. It is Evan Neal officially locked in as one of the worst first-round picks in modern football history. If you bleed blue, white, and red and want to see the Cowboys crumble, smash like and subscribe right now. We begin with the draft disaster that has New York buzzing. Stay locked, because a double cliffhanger is waiting at the very end. It started with massive expectations, but closed doors and cold tape brought a brutal reality to the Meadowlands. The identity everyone in Big Blue Nation is talking about today? Evan Neal, and his journey in New York has reached its absolute breaking point. Mike Renner of CBS Sports released a definitive ranking of all 191 first-round draft picks made since 2020, excluding the selections from 2026. And Neal crashed all the way down to number 185. Think about that for a second. Out of nearly 200 premium draft choices over a 6-year span, the former top 10 selection sits near the absolute bottom. Joe Schoen entered his first draft as general manager back in January of 2022 with 2 top 10 picks, using them on Kayvon Thibodeau and Neal. While Thibodeau continues to fight for his long-term standing, the final verdict on Neal has been stamped shut. In his first 22 starts, the hulking offensive tackle surrendered 71 pressures, immediately establishing himself as one of the most vulnerable pass blockers in the entire league. Injuries certainly didn't help his cause, as knee and hamstring issues wiped out major portions of his 2023 and 2024 campaigns before he missed the entire 2025 season with back, neck, and hamstring complications. But let's be honest and look at the film. This draft miss wasn't simply caused by bad medical luck. Neal was unplayable even when healthy, displaying severe footwork issues and speed rush vulnerabilities that defenses exploited week after week. That performance forced the coaching staff to move him to guard and relegate him to the bench before he returned on a 1-year deal this offseason. Insiders now say he is not expected to make the final roster, meaning the former top 10 pick has likely started his final game in the NFL and could end up on a practice squad elsewhere. Schoen's second selection in charge will go down as one of the absolute worst draft whiffs in franchise history. A painful lesson in evaluating collegiate tackle prospects. How does a talent so dominant at the college level collapse so completely under the lights of New York? When you invest top 10 capital in a cornerstone tackle, you expect a decade-long anchor, not a constant rotation of emergency fixes and broken schemes. Every stalled drive and QB hit feels like a direct echo of that draft night, leaving fans wondering how scouting reports missed such critical technique flaws under pressure. Furthermore, analysts point out that holding on to underperforming top picks for too long damages team chemistry by creating unequal accountability in the locker room. Fortunately, the Giants' front office managed to salvage the offensive line without him. Sliding Jermaine Elweminor out to right tackle softened the blow, and with rookie Francis Mauigoa locking down the interior, Big Blue has built a legitimate wall to protect Jackson Dart in 2026. If this young unit clicks early, the front office might finally erase the dark shadow left by that 2022 draft night. Do you think Evan Neal is the biggest draft bust in Giants franchise history? Or does someone else hold that title? Drop your take in the comments below. If you believe this updated offensive line will keep Jackson Dart clean, hit that like button and let Philadelphia know New York is coming. But as massive as this offensive line overhaul is, our next story cuts straight into the heart of John Harbaugh's new offense. Because while a top 10 bust prepares to exit, a brand new tight end tandem is sparking a fierce national debate. Strategic genius or overhyped unit? Stay locked. Scouts called it an athletic goldmine, but national analysts aren't buying the hype just yet. While head coach John Harbaugh boldly declared that there isn't a better tight end room in the entire league, Pro Football Focus poured cold water on that claim. The tandem receiving all the spotlight. Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson and their role in Matt Nagy's new offensive scheme will decide everything in 2026. PFF analysts Dalton Wasserman and Max Chadwick ranked Likely at number 22 and Johnson at number 32 in their top 32 tight end rankings. While New York is one of only 4 teams to feature 2 tight ends on the list alongside Buffalo, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, seeing them in the bottom third and dead last raised plenty of eyebrows. But here is why the national media might be completely wrong about their projection. likely enters a dream scenario after signing a 3-year, $40 million contract in free agency, reuniting with Harbaugh after producing 888 yards and 11 touchdowns over a 2-year stretch in Baltimore. His 2025 stats dropped to 27 catches for 307 yards and 1 score in 14 games, causing critics to cool on him, but insiders confirm that off-season foot surgery completely disrupted his routine last year. Fully healthy now, the 26-year-old native of Massachusetts has a golden opportunity to become the primary target in Big Blue's passing attack, especially with lingering questions surrounding the wide receiver depth. Meanwhile, the 6'6", 264-pound Theo Johnson brings terrifying physical tools. Coming off a 2025 season where he caught 45 passes for 528 yards and 5 touchdowns with an impressive 8.9 average depth of target, the main issue holding Johnson back is a glaring drop problem, recording 12 drops for a 14% drop rate through his first 2 NFL campaigns. However, Dart clearly has natural chemistry with Johnson in the red zone, and his rare combination of size and speed creates mismatches against linebackers across the middle. According to sources close to the facility, this is a rumor. Nagy intends to run heavy 12 personnel 2 tight end sets on over 40% of early downs to create pre-snap confusion and open up explosive play-action passes. When you have 2 tight ends capable of blocking in the run game and flexing out into the slot, defensive coordinators cannot substitute lighter defensive backs without giving up push up the middle. That tactical flexibility is exactly why Harbaugh expressed so much confidence in this group despite the national disrespect. It forces defensive coordinators into painful personnel choices on every single drive, pulling safety coverage into the box and opening up deep vertical shots down the sidelines. Moreover, early reports from summer workouts indicate that both tight ends have spent extra hours mastering the line of scrimmage calls to give Jackson Dart maximum protection. If Johnson sharpens his hands and likely regains his pre-injury quickness, this duo can completely reshape how defenses attack Big Blue. Can Likely and Johnson step up as a top 10 tight end duo this year? Let us know in the comments below. Smash like if you trust Harbaugh's vision to dominate the NFC East. But while the offense builds its firepower, a sudden front office sweeping move just shook up the locker room right before training camp opens at the Greenbrier. 2 players cut in a single morning? Stay locked! The front office didn't hesitate, swinging the axe just hours before players reported to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. 2 roster spots opened up instantly, and the roster officially dropped to 89 players ahead of Wednesday's first practice. The primary names sent packing: defensive lineman C.J. Ravenel and linebacker Cam Jones, and their abrupt departures reveal exactly how high the standards are under the new regime. Ravenel's tenure in Big Blue lasted roughly 3 weeks after being claimed off waivers from Tennessee following his release with an injury designation. The 6'5", 300-pound defensive lineman played under Harbaugh on Baltimore's practice squad in 2024 before posting 6 tackles and a forced fumble in 14 games with the Titans last year. However, the coaching staff decided 3 weeks of summer evaluation was enough to make a change, proving that past connections will not secure a roster spot in New York. The even bigger surprise was Cam Jones, who signed a 1-year, $1 million deal with New York in March. Jones came with championship pedigree after reaching the Super Bowl in consecutive seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, winning a ring in 2023 before losing to Philadelphia in Super Bowl LIX. He logged over 60% of special team snaps in Kansas City, bringing elite coverage experience and solid linebacking depth. After playing 10 games for the Jets last season, bad luck struck when Jones reportedly injured his ankle while moving boxes into his new home, forcing him to miss minicamp after already missing 7 games last year due to a hip injury. That freak off-field injury completely derailed his chance to compete for a starting special teams role. With training camp practice officially launching at the Greenbrier, the front office made it clear that availability and execution are everything. These roster cuts open up crucial flexibility as final depth chart battles begin across the entire defense. In modern NFL roster construction, carrying injured or marginal depth pieces during the first week of camp wastes valuable reps for young undrafted free agents who might develop into real contributors. Joe Schoen and John Harbaugh are building a culture where every single spot on the 89-man list must be earned through daily performance, not resume or contract numbers. High expectations mean no room for sentimental roster spots when training camp opens, sending a clear message to every bubble player that mediocrity gets cut immediately. Additionally, releasing veterans early gives the coaching staff immediate cap flexibility to pounce on late summer market additions as other teams finalize their rosters. Do you agree with cutting former Super Bowl champions to make room for younger talent? Drop your thoughts below. If you think this roster trimming shows Big Blue is serious about winning right now, hit like and subscribe to keep the skyline rising. But we are far from finished, because the real storm is just starting to gather. Three major storylines, one clear message echoing through the Meadowlands. The book on a former top 10 draft disaster is officially closed. A reloaded tight end room under John Harbaugh is ready to shock the league, and a ruthless front office is trimming the fat before training camp even hits full speed. New York isn't lingering on past mistakes anymore. This franchise is forging a physical, disciplined identity to take over the NFC East. If Jermaine Eluemunor and Francis Mauigoa hold the line, Jackson Dart will have time to feed Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson in space, transforming this offense from a question mark into a nightmare for opposing defensive coordinators. The math is right in front of us. Big Blue's division hopes rely on protecting the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, and capitalizing on a fresh offensive scheme. The foundation is laid, but the ultimate test begins right now on the practice fields at the Greenbrier. Here is what you need to do right now, Big Blue Nation. 1. Smash that like button if you believe John Harbaugh will lead the Giants back to the playoffs this season. 2. Drop a comment with your exact record prediction for 2026. Are we winning 9 games, 10 games, or taking the NFC East crown? 3. Subscribe immediately because every new subscriber sends a direct message to Eagles and Cowboys fans that Big Blue stands mighty. But listen closely because the edge of the cliff is right here. Reports are swirling that Joe Schoen is currently in active talks to sign a veteran pass rusher before Friday's practice, and the contract details could be finalized within the next 24 hours. On top of that, according to sources, a major NFC East rival just cleared cap space to bid on the exact same free agent defensive end. Which team lands the final defensive piece, New York or Philadelphia? Plus, a rumor is circulating that a senior Giants leader addressed the team in a closed-door meeting at the Greenbrier last night, setting a strict standard that already has the locker room buzzing. That breakdown drops in our very next video. If New York stands tall, the rest of the division falls. Subscribe, raise the skyline in the comments, and let's make the NFC East take notice. See you at the top.